Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Robert Sullivan. I'm the mayor of the city of Brockton, known as the City of Champions. I want to welcome each and every one of you here today. Before we actually begin, just a couple house cleaning ideas. We will be not taking any questions from the podium. However, the new ownership group, which you'll be introduced to in just a second, are happy to do one-on-one interviews at the conclusion of this before we head off. We are going to start. I'm going to ask everybody to please stand. And the Chief Financial Officer for the City of Brockton, Dr. Troy Clarkson, is not just an esteemed financial expert. He's a heck of a singer. He's had the opportunity to sing at Fenway Park, and today he's going to kick off this wonderful historic day in the City of Brockton by his rendition of our national anthem. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. It's my honor to represent this great nation and this great city. I do have to take the opportunity, since the mayor asked me to sing, to let everyone know that in 1986, when Jim Rice and the Boston Red Sox went to the World Series, I slept on the street for 2 nights to get tickets to Game 4.
Should have called me.
Next time I will, Jim Ed. So please help me in honoring our great nation. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you very much, Dr. Clarkson. Again, I want to welcome you all here. I want to thank the Boston media for being here as well, and our local media, the Brockton Enterprise is here, WBCA is here, WATD from Marshfield. I do want to thank our elected officials that are here as well. I know City Councilor Jack Lally is here, School Committee Member Tim Sullivan is here, our esteemed City Clerk Tim Cruz is here as well, and our Fire Chief Brian Nardelli. But this is a new day in the city of Brockton. As I've said, we all know about the history of Brockton, how it relates to sports. And as a guy that grew up here, we were raised as a city of dedicated people that fight for what we need. We're not a wealthy community on our financial ledger. We're wealthy with people. We are a city of diverse folks that have come to the city of Brockton. My own grandparents from Ireland to work in the shoe factories. My wife's family from Italy doing the same. We have always been an inclusive, welcoming community known as the City of Champions. Of course, we could talk about the connection to boxing, right? We have Rocky Marciano, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Marvelous Marvin Hagler, best middleweight in the history of the world, and he did beat Sugar Ray, and that's a fact. But I will tell you today, there is a connection to the game of professional baseball, America's pastime. Franklin Sporting Goods started here in Brockton, Massachusetts before they moved over to a neighboring community of Stoughton. Stahl & Dean, headquartered here in Brockton, Massachusetts. Ted Williams would come here and pick out the gloves and the leather and his bats. We also actually have a Brocktonian, William McGonigal, Gunnar McGonigal, who went on to a career coaching the Pittsburgh Pirates and also the Brooklyn Dodgers. But his claim for fame, and it's in the Hall of Fame, he created the catcher's mitt. And if you walk outside City Hall, you'll see a stone with an inscription dedicated to him. But today is a revival of professional baseball in the city of Brockton. I was one of the first to buy season tickets back in the day in 2002 when baseball was coming. That was a different league. And then recently we've had the collegiate league. But we have a professional team, the Frontier League, and we have a new ownership group. Jim Rice, Hall of Famer, both Major League Baseball and Boston Red Sox. Bill and his son, Rob Janacek, who are connected to Major League Baseball with the Florida team and the New York Boulders in New York. And Sean Riley, again, who was the creator of the New York Boulders. We have folks that understand how to, number one, get the game on the field, the product on the field to be the best. It's going to top the Cape Cod League without question. But also to make it family friendly. But also to make sure that it continues to be community oriented. So when you go to a game as a family, you don't have to go to Fenway. You don't have to pay for the parking at Fenway. You come right to Brockton and you see unbelievable professional baseball. You'll be able to grab a hot dog or a beer, cotton candy, and watch exceptional baseball. So today, as the mayor of Brockton and as a guy that loves baseball, I want to thank these four gentlemen, the new ownership, and at this time, Mr. Janacek, Bill, I would like you to come to the podium.
Thank you all for taking the time to be here today. I actually grew up in New York, and believe it or not, my whole career of watching baseball has been as a Red Sox fan. And so imagine being someone from New York who had to actually live through 40 years of pain, just like all of you, to be now part of a team that represents Boston. Professionally, from a baseball point of view, I actually own two minor league teams in the Red Sox organization over the last 20 years. One is in Greenville, which is really close to where Jim grew up, and the other one was in Salem, Virginia. So what I thought I'd do is just spend a couple of minutes just talking about the ownership group and what we hope to bring to Brockton. But before I do, I just want to thank the mayor in particular, Chris Cooney, and Bob Rivers, who, Chris, as you know, is part of the Chamber of Commerce. Bob Rivers runs Eastern Bank. When I reached out to the mayor and told him that we were contemplating moving a team from the Frontier League to Brockton, he was excited, and he rounded up two of the strongest business leaders I've ever come in touch with as trying to engage us into their community. And the amount of time and effort that Chris and Dan Evans, not Dwight Evans, and and Bob Rivers, again, we can't thank you enough. So as far as the ownership is concerned, my son, Rob, purchased the New York Boulders 5 years ago. And when you want to talk about timing being everything, here's someone who worked professionally at a consulting firm for 8 years, and we decided that we wanted to engage him in baseball like his dad. And we decided to buy a team the last day in February of 2020, 2 weeks before the world ended because of COVID. And so for all of 20 and 21, somehow he and Sean, and I'll talk about Sean in a minute, figured out a way to play baseball during the 2020 season, believe it or not. We actually purchased a team in 2020. Sean had actually been the manager, the president of that team, and a part owner, and he decided to roll his interest into the new team. And so Sean ran the team for 10 years prior, and then over the last 5 years, it's been Sean and Rob running the Boulders. And so we decided that we wanted to engage in another team, and fortunately, we found out about the stadium here in Brockton. And when I found out that the stadium was available, the first person that came in mind as far as trying to engage someone from the local community was Jim. Because Jim and I go back probably 10 years or so. Jim is still engaged with Fenway Sports Group, as am I, by the ownership in the minor league teams. Plus, we also have an affinity towards the Hall of Fame. So last year, we were working on a brand new exhibit up the Hall of Fame called Black Baseball, sold at the game, and Jim was involved in that too. And so that's when I found out, just in chatting, that Jim was still in the community. And when I found out about this opportunity, I reached out to Jim and said, listen, would you like to be an owner in a team in Brockton? And it took him 30 seconds to say yes. And so that is the management team. We couldn't be any more excited. We think we're professional, and we are bringing back a professional team, so hopefully everything works out. And what we want to do is just bring baseball back to the city. And with that, I'll turn it over to Sean Riley.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, well said. Thank you, Jim, the mayor. Thank you for everybody for coming. My name is Sean Riley, and as Bill said, I founded the Boulders back in 2011. And when my partners and I at the time were looking into this new minor league baseball concept called independent minor league baseball, we used to hear three names that were always talked about as the examples of how to run a team: Brockton Rox, St. Paul Saints, Long Island Ducks. And so when the Boulders started in 2011, our first home game was actually against the Brockton Rox, and their manager was Bill Buckner. And we played here, and the crowds were magnificent. It always led the league in attendance, excuse me. And it was a great place to play. Jared, our field manager, played here, and like people knew playing in Brockton, you had your hands full because the seats would be full. For some reason, we don't know what happened in 2012, but professional baseball went away, and the Rox name went to college. So when this opportunity became available, I said to Bill, I've experienced it. This is a great sports town. We know it's here, and the people will come out. They just need the name back that they love so much. Rob and I would go to these Major League Baseball seminars, and we'd say, hey, we're looking at a team in Brockton. And they'd say, the Brockton Rox? People knew the name. They loved the name. So we're really excited to be here to bring professional baseball back. I can promise you, our ownership group and our front office, we will work hard every day to bring affordable family entertainment to the residents of the city. I mean, we know, look, we go to the store, I see the price of eggs, people are struggling to make ends meet. So we're coming in, we're lowering ticket prices, we're lowering the food prices, and we're going to put on a great quality entertainment show every night for people. So people in this area can come out and not break the bank and have a nice night out with their family. But more than that, we're excited to be able to bring back the name and enjoy the rebirth of Brockton. Mayor, there's so many exciting things here. So the revival of the team, in my mind, goes hand in hand with the revival of the city of Brockton. And the timing couldn't be better. And there's nothing better than a thriving city with a great minor league baseball team with fireworks and kids reading programs and a charity foundation. And there's so many people here. I'm just so excited to get started to bring back the glory days of Brockton baseball. So I'm going to call my staff up because we're about to unveil the new logo. So Jared, Caitlin. So we're going to right a wrong that happened in 2012, and we're bringing back the name that people love. And for this year, our slogan is going to be the revival season. So folks, let's drop the banner and welcome back to Brockton Rox. It's the 2025 revival season. And we're very excited to have Jim Rice as our partner. I mean, what a stamp of approval on how exciting this can be. Jim, thank you so much. But we look forward to working with you, but we are a community team, so we need your help, and we need people to come out, and we have a lot to do. It's only 100 days until the start of the season, so we'll be here. So thank you, everybody. No.
Isn't this unbelievable? That's awesome. I mean, that's, you know, it says the word Brockton, but it's Brockton and beyond. It's all the neighboring communities. It's Rhode Island. It's really New England. And, you know, I am really proud to be able to partner with these fine gentlemen. I also want to give a shout out to Bob Rivers. Bob, I see you right there. Thank you very much for everything that you do. Chris Cooney, I want to thank you as well. We did a lot to prep for this today. We did a lot of Zooms, a lot of meetings, a lot of calls, weekends, nights, because everybody's on board, right? We're rolling up the sleeves. We have the eyes on the prize. We know what can be achieved if we work together. It's through collaboration. Mr. Rice was just in my office telling me some baseball stories, and what it comes down to is hard work, discipline, and listening. And the community is definitely going to benefit from the expertise of these fine people. We will continue to showcase, but also make it for the next generation, the boys and girls. There'll be nights that are going to be, and I know this because Bill and Rob and Mr. Rice and Sean have said it, there's going to be some free ticket nights for boys and girls here in the city of Brockton, working with the YMCA and the Boys and Girls Club, and many pastors and churches are going to benefit as well. There'll be baseball camps as well that are going to be really great here in Brockton. But we also have to remember Brockton High School, which is the largest public high school east of the Mississippi, abuts Campanelli Stadium. And it was already clear from these fine folks that Brockton High baseball, the varsity team, will be able to play there as well, continue that tradition. Think about that. If you're a kid playing high school ball and you can play in a pro stadium, I mean, that's a game changer. But we're also going to be able to reach out, not just to baseball, to community events. At some point, we'll have concerts up there. We're going to continue to showcase Campanelli the way it was back in the day. We had concerts there. Def Leppard played there. Bob Dylan, Willie Nelson, Jason Aldean, Salt and Pepper, the B-52s. So, and I went to almost all of them. So I will tell you this. As someone that loves the city of Brockton, we're telling our own story. We're going to harness the intellectual integrity of everybody in this room. We're going to market the heck out of this. We're going to work with our partners. We're going to work with the state, the MBTA. We have 3 commuter stops here in the city of Brockton. You can jump on a train in South Station, get down to the City of Champions in 35 minutes. You can drive the same distance from Providence, Rhode Island. So today is an unbelievable day. I want to, as mayor, I want to do several things. I want to give some citations to the ownership group. I'm going to read, the verbiage is the same, but I want to present it, and then I have a special surprise. So at this point, again, William Janacek, Robert Janacek, Sean Riley, and Mr. James Rice, Jim Rice, in recognition of your investment in the City of Champions as the new owners of the Brockton Rox Frontier League team, we extend our deepest gratitude for your commitment to our community. Therefore, as mayor of the City of Brockton, it gives me great pleasure to present this citation to you as a symbol of my appreciation, but truly it's our collective appreciations. And I proudly sign it today, the 29th day of January in the year 2025. So each and every one of the new ownership group will receive the citation. I also just will give a citation as well to Mr. Rivers, Robert Rivers, Executive Chair and Chair of the Board of Directors, Eastern Bank Shares Inc. and Eastern Bank, in recognition of your unwavering dedication to improving Brockton and beyond, and your partnership in organizing the Brockton Rox Frontier League Ownership Press Conference and Business Meeting. And also Mr. Chris Cooney, the CEO, Metro South Chamber of Commerce, will receive that. Now for the surprise. The City of Brockton, we very, very rarely dedicate a day to an individual. We just don't. When Marvelous Marvin passed, I did that out of respect for the great late champ and his family. And just last year, we were able to get $150,000 of state money, and we have a wonderful statue just about 2 blocks away for the champ. But today, as a kid that grew up loving the Sox, I always worry the number 14 or number 8 for Yaz or Mr. Rice. I, as a kid, caddied up at Thorny Lake Golf Course, which is one of the best golf courses in New England. Mr. Rice would come there. It was called the Enterprise Classic. And just as a young kid, I was in junior high, watching him tee off. I mean, they were bombs. It wasn't going over the green monster. It was going onto the green. So today, I want to read this proclamation proudly. Mayoral proclamation, whereas the City of Brockton enjoys a rich history of professional sports, particularly in the sport of baseball. Whereas the Brockton Rox have been an integral part of the city's vibrant sports culture since 2002. Whereas Major League Baseball and Boston Red Sox Hall of Famer Jim Rice has etched his name and number 14 in the hearts of sports fans across New England and the country with his iconic All-Star career with the Boston Red Sox. And whereas the partnership between the City of Brockton, the City of Champions, the Brockton Rox, and the legendary Hall of Famer Mr. Rice will further embrace and enhance Brockton's legacy as the proud City of Champions. Now, therefore, I, Robert F. Sullivan, as mayor of the City of Brockton, proudly proclaim today in the city, Wednesday, January 29, 2025, as Major League Baseball and Boston Red Sox Hall of Famer Jim Rice Day. And I respectfully, humbly ask all residents and business owners in the fine city to join me in recognizing this special day in tribute to a fine gentleman, a great baseball player, but also a great humanitarian. You remember back in 1982, a 4-year-old boy, Jonathan Keene, was injured in the stands at Fenway. What did Mr. Rice do? He picked up that injured boy, right? And he carried him through the dugout. And he is alive today and thriving because of Jim Rice. Again, I had a few minutes in my office with him, and at least 5 times he mentioned his dad his dad. So it was clear that he was brought up the right way by parents that understand that you might be a gifted professional athlete, but at the end of the day, it's about the human touch, taking care of others. But as a Brockton boxer, a Brockton kid, what I remember about Jim Rice was a Yankee Stadium when some fool tried to steal his cap. And what did Rice do? He went into the stands and got his hat back. So today, we honor you, Mr. Rice. So at this time, this officially concludes the press conference, but as I said when I kicked it off, we will be happy to have one-on-one interviews with any of the ownership group. If anybody has any questions for them, they're ready, willing, and able to answer those questions. Again, I truly want to thank you for coming here. I also recognize the Police Chief, Brenda Perez, for joining us here as well today. But before you leave, I would ask you to take this room in. Take this room in. You're not going to see artwork in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts at any city hall like you do here in Brockton, Mass. And if any of you are as old as me, you remember the movie Glory with Matthew Broderick and Denzel Washington about the regiment, the all-black regiment. This is the only painting in the world that depicts that regiment. So let's continue to showcase how special Brockton, Massachusetts is and continue to work together. But also consider buying season tickets or one-off game tickets because this is going to be a heck of a season in Brockton, Mass. Let's play ball and let's go Brockton Rox! Sean, Rob. Yeah.